Welcome to Westcountry Wanderings and welcome to another one in my monthly vlog series. It's vlog number 14 for the month of September 2022, and today I'm delighted to say I'm in Dawlish in South Devon. Going to be exploring this town. We also be going over to Dawlish Warren and having a look for the black swans, the famous black swans here. Also a quiet cove, so I can tell you what's been happening on my channel. So why not join me here on Westcountry Wanderings in Dawlish. So behind me is known as Dawlish Water, or sometimes just the brook, and it's that runs through the centre of the heart of the town here in Dawlish. Got shops on one side and you've got places, cafes and takeaways. It's also delightful. I found the old mill where you can have a Cornish green tea. That would be terrible, wouldn't it, in Devon? A Devon green tea right here in South Devon. Apologies for not bringing you much content from Devon recently. I did a video of Foy, more about that in a bit, talking about the videos. As we've gone out of the summer peak and the trains are quieter and the places are less crowded, making it easier to film, I feel more comfortable to come into this part of the world again on the coast to bring you some content from here. I'll stick with Matt now, just show where we are. Basically, we are 12 miles to the south of the main city, and well, not the main city in Exeter. It advertises itself as the regional capital of this part of the world, and that is Exeter. And we're 12 miles south of that. We also have Plymouth, which is about 25 to 30 miles further to the west. We're just across the river from the large town of Exmouth as well, the Ex-estuary, and also down from the village of Star Cross. Connections to Brunel. More about the railway, of course, here in a bit. Population of Dawlish is about 13,000. It's growing up with some newer estates around the Sainsbury's, if you know that part of the world. But I have beautiful beaches here too, and a couple of hidden coves, which I hope to show you. Also close by is Dawlish Warren with its own nature reserve, and I hope to bring you some of that here today too. Walked up through what's called Overbrook. It's further away from the town centre, and behind me is the church of St Gregory. I'll just insert the photograph I've just taken of that, and I'll put in the date that that church was built. Got quieter land here. This is a recreation area at the top of the furthest away from the sea, should I say. Before we head down to the seaside and the beaches and all that kind of thing, I know you're waiting for that because I'm waiting for that too. Just tell you a little bit more about the town here and some of the famous resident connections. First famous literary connection is one Jane Austen. She went to the nearby, well not that nearby, in East Devon, over the other side of the River Exe, resort of Sidmouth. Hopefully that's somewhere we'll also cover here on Westcountry Wanderings. I love Sidmouth, a very, very nice, genteel town with excellent shopping facilities. Anyway, I digress. 1801, Jane Austen visited it and then inspired her to visit other parts of Devon, and she came to Dawlish in 1802. The main thing that she said about the town, though, was it had a poor library. I don't know if that's still the case. Hopefully it's got better library facilities here today. It's got a really good museum too. She then went on to mention Dawlish several times in her 1811 novel Sense and Sensibility. Now, another famous writer was one Charles Dickens. Now, he wasn't from here, it was more east, way out of my area, but probably he came here because he mentioned the connections in the book Nicholas Nickleby, that's it. The main protagonist in that book inherited some lands around the Dawlish area, and he mentioned Devon a few times in Nicholas Nickleby, so he probably came here a few times to do some research for that novel. Now, another famous writer, in fact poet, was one John Keats, or one of the Romantic poets, and he did a walk here from Dawlish to Teignmouth, delightful walk along the seafront there. And when he came back to where he was residing at the time, he wrote the famous poem Dawlish Fair. I'm now on Langaston Cliff, and you have Corton Cove just down there. I thought you could actually access it by coming up to the top here. It does afford you fantastic views right down, back down to Dawlish Station and down towards the Warren. And that direction is Teignmouth, and it disappears, the railway disappears into a tunnel, making its way across to Teignmouth, where they obviously done the sea wall. But yes, I want to make my way down the steps, cross over a footbridge and back to where there seems to be a little harbour and a breakwater. We'll do some more information there about the town and the area. Now on the new sea wall, this is what Network Rail built to defend the railway here. Behind me there is Dawlish Station. We're going to make our way over now towards Dawlish Warren. The beautiful spot here, especially the views from the headland up there. I'm really enjoying my day in Dawlish here. It has warmed up quite a bit, so hence the jumpers come off. So I'll see you over at Dawlish Warren in a bit. So now walking along the sea wall between Dawlish and Dawlish Warren, we're just coming up to a bit of a headland. I can't remember the name of that. I may have got the name of the other one wrong. I think well, it'll become clear. I'll film down there and put the subtitle up when I do the editing, because I can't remember to have easy access to the map. So yeah, that's back in the direction of Dawlish, and in front of me is heading towards Dawlish Warren. So we're now at Dawlish Warren Beach, and Dawlish Warren is mainly a holiday resort. Well, it sprung up because of the holiday. There's also a railway station here, and rather than walking back along the sea wall back to Dawlish, where I started today's journey on, and we're catching the train to Dawlish Warren, back to Dawlish where I can get the train back home again. Dawlish Warren Nature Reserve is an NNR, it's a National Nature Reserve, and it's jointly maintained by Teignbridge District Council and Natural England. And there are some rare species on the dunes here, and I'll put up some subtitles because I did read some of them last night. I can't remember. There's two specific rare species. One of them's a flower, one of them's a bird. I'll put those details on the screen now. Now I thought I'd mix it up this month. Normally what I do is I go through the videos I've actually produced for the month or the preceding month, because we're coming to the end of September. What I thought I'd do this time is give the shout outs, give the mentions to the people that regularly contribute to my channel. And there's a few of those. What I thought I'd do is not go through the ones that I normally mention. You know who you are, guys and gals. And I thought I'd mention some different people that I haven't mentioned on the channel before. Or they've regularly contributed to the comments, but not actually contributed to the channel. Now the first one is David Ludlow, who's a photographer mainly based in the London area. He's been doing some recent photographs and videos based, I think, in Spain and Portugal. I hope that I got that right. Hi David, thank you very much for your comments. Been commenting a lot on my channel recently. I really appreciate it. He uses the same cameras and equipment that I do, but his videos are very different, and in fact they are based in urban areas rather than more rural and beach areas, which mine are. And he also does a lot of street photography, still street photography. As you know, I find it difficult working in and around busy city areas, which is I prefer quite areas like this at the end of the beach here at Dawlish Warren today. But he produces some excellent photographs, so I really recommend his channel, which is David Ludlow Photography. And thank you, David. Now, the next person I'd like to mention is a lady called Kathy Dyer. Hi to Kathy. Thank you very much for your contributions, both on the comments section of my channel, Westcountry Wanderings, but also on the Facebook focus group, Westcountry Wanderings too. Commented a lot on my videos recently. I think you've come across my channel through Louise's Southwest Sundays channel over the past 2 or 3 months. So thanks for that, really appreciate it. And I know you can regularly contribute on Louise's Southwest Sundays, and I know she really appreciates that too. So thanks for watching our channels, and thank you for commenting too. Next gentleman is called John Owen. John comments on particularly on my canal on railway ones. Hi John. I've got a few Johns on my channel that regularly comment. I've mentioned some of the other Johns previously. If you're John and I haven't mentioned you yet, you're probably in the next months. But John Owen, thank you very much for your regular contributions. I really do appreciate it. Another one to mention there, also YouTubers. I have mentioned them, but not for some time. And that is Anna and Alf from FX Wales. They do some brilliant videos, particularly around the North Wales area. Some excellent content with that. What they also do is produce some content to help you to learn Welsh as well, which they incorporate into their travelling videos, which is a really brilliant project. That I must admit, hands up, I really struggled with the pronunciation of Welsh names, but if you want to learn some Welsh and also get a tour of some beautiful parts of North Wales and other parts of Wales as well, I highly recommend FX Wales for Anna and Alf. Great stuff. 2 more people to mention this month one is Stephen Chappell, who takes a keen interest in railways, always comments on my railway content, sometimes on my other ones, my walking in canals one as well. But he has a brilliant background in railway history. I'm not sure what part of the country he lives in. I know it's kind of in the west area. Not sure exactly well. May have got that wrong, Stephen. I think that's right. But yeah, so thank you very much for your regular contributions on my channel. It's very much appreciated. And finally, for this month, the one to mention is a gentleman called Andrew Merriman. Now, Andrew is a regular subscriber to Ron from Parkinson's Walks channel, and his knowledge of all things railway is just, well, it just completely blows my mind. I think I got it right that Andrew was a former signalman around probably the 1970s, 1980s, that sort of time. And he has a phenomenal technical knowledge in all things to do with the railways in terms of railway history, old railway lines, and how the signalling equipment and signal boxes, that sort of thing works. And when I put up railway videos, he often looks at my videos and gives additional background detail into the content that is on those videos, which is really, really super job. I can't thank you very much for that, Andrew. That's really excellent work, and your knowledge is absolutely phenomenal of all things railways, so thank you. Cheers. So what happened on Westcountry Wanderings this month? Well, the first video that I did was entitled Cirencester, a Roman Town. Now, I hadn't actually covered Cirencester at all before, and this is kind of like an introductory video to that particular town at the heart of the Cotswolds. It's often cited as the capital of the Cotswolds, and I'm not sure about that because there's lots of other contenders for that. You could say places like Burford or Bath or Chipping Campden. There's lots of them, but that's how it markets itself. But it is a very, very delightful town in the eastern part of Gloucestershire, and of course it was a Roman town, Corinium. And that video there gave you a little bit of a taster. We had a look briefly at the church, and I will be going back to the church there for a more in-depth look at that. And we also had a look at the Roman amphitheatre there as well, and a quick look at Cirencester Park, which is huge. And I hope to do a separate video on Cirencester Park, and also one to cover the church and other parts of the town in more depth. Yeah, that seemed to go down pretty well, that video on my channel. And although I don't normally like doing town ones, I did it as mainly a photographic around the busier town areas, but when I was doing the amphitheatre, it was pretty quiet down there, just like it is here on the beach at Dawlish Warren here today. Now, the next one was one in my canal series, and it's a place called Droitwich Spa, and it was the Droitwich Barge Canal. Now, Droitwich has got two canals. One links it to the Worcester-Birmingham Canal, and one links it to the River Severn. And thought I would have time to do the Droitwich Barge Canal when I'm doing the Severn Way. So I thought it'd link in nicely to my Severn Way series as I work further south along that river. And I really enjoyed that. It was very, very quiet. I got there early, got to the park there. Name escapes me, just got out of my head, sorry, I can't remember the name of the park. It's not far from the railway station anyway. And I did the introductory to the video there quite early in the morning, so it was hardly just a few dog walkers around. And once I was on the towpath heading out of Droitwich Spa, which is a lovely town in Worcestershire, I had the place to myself and I hardly saw anyone else. The incident that happened though was the bit where the canal joins the River Severn. There's a lock there, and there was a narrowboat, and it was a gentleman and his young son. And I heard a lot of commotion. I thought, this is going to be difficult to film this with some shouting and panicking sounds going on in the background. I thought, better just wait my time here and see what's going on. Well, what had happened was the young lad who was doing all the lock work, actually, his dad was navigating the boat. A swan had actually got caught in the lock itself, in between the two gates. And of course, that meant they couldn't actually close the lock to get out. Well, eventually, another narrowboater came along and they managed to free it up, and it managed to get in and work its way back up the canal again. But yeah, it was a bit difficult filming that, and thankfully no swans were injured in the making of that video. Now, the third video was also in Worcestershire, and it was a trip to Bredon, which is not far up from the town of Tewkesbury, which lies in Gloucestershire, close to where the River Severn and the River Avon meets. And what I wanted to do was, it was I think it was a bank holiday or the day after. It was around a bank holiday time, not the one we just had, but back in August. So it must have been towards the end of August rather than into September I filmed it. And you had a lot of the boats going along up and down the navigable section of the River Avon, up and down to Stratford-on-Avon, of course. And one of the shots I really liked, I just got there, and you got a sail, and it just looks like the sail is moving across the fields. You can't see the water because the water level is so low in the River Avon at the moment because of the drought conditions that we've had. But yeah, I enjoyed making that. It wasn't a particularly long video, perhaps not one of my best videos, but I thought some of the shots in it were okay. And it has a stunning church as well, which is well worth looking at. And if you're ever in that part of the world, a lot of people drive past Bredon. You can see the church prominently as you're heading down, you're barreling down the M5 from Birmingham towards Bristol direction. You can see it, bridge going over the River Avon off to the left hand side. A lot of people go past, and I've done that many times, and I thought, that church looks well exploring, and the village. But yeah, Bredon in Worcestershire. The fourth video was Severn Way 8, yes, back on the Severn Way, and it was entitled To Shrewsbury. It was actually from Montford Bridge to Shrewsbury. I started off in Montford Bridge and parked my car at Montford Bridge and just walked into Shrewsbury. I have to say that was one of the, probably the most delightful sections of the River Severn to date. Beautifully picturesque. Again, that had been that bank holiday, and when I got there, the kids had gone back to school. It was a midweek, and I had the banks of the River Severn pretty much to myself. So it was a very, very enjoyable walk into the town of Shrewsbury. And of course, we passed the house where Charles Darwin lived as well, just up on the hill. So that was really impressive to see that. And that stretch of the river just going into Shrewsbury was really, really beautiful and delightful. Go to my most viewed video of the month, which was a railway series one. It's usually going to be a railway series or a canal one, isn't it, on my channel? And it was over at the Dean Forest Railway. In fact, it was the first visit I've done to the Dean Forest Railway. I titled it Lydney Harbour and Junction Dean Forest Railway in brackets 1, because there's going to be more. In fact, there's another one this month which has just gone up, more about which in a bit. Now, what I focused on was the steam train movements, a steam engine running around its train at Lydney Junction. And not only that, we also had a quick look at the halt, which is no longer used at St Mary's, right in the heart of Lydney. And then I went down to have a look at the Lydney Harbour docks, which have been partially restored. They've opened up a new cafe there, and the area is a lot more pleasant than it used to be. It used to have quite a derelict area to now. Now it's had some money pumped into it with the new facilities, the toilets, cafe, new car park and new footpaths and signage. It does look a lot brighter, and they've cleared some of the rubbish that was piling up there and some of the boats that were decaying in the harbour there. So it's really nice. I think the lock gates have also been replaced there. So that was my most viewed video of the month. So that got top ranking in the month of September. I then had a trip down to Cornwall for one of my Cornwall series. I hadn't been to Cornwall for a little while. Neither Devon, and I do again apologise for that, because it's just so busy. If you can't film in these places on beaches in the peak of the summer, I know that from my experience of doing the Isle of Portland in Dawson, which I did do in August, but it's no good for doing vlogging. You just don't get enough clear space and reduced noise. It'd be too noisy on the beach to do anything. So I caught the train down to Lisgar, met up with my daughter, then we went on to Parn, and we caught the bus to Foy. Been to Foy many years ago, but yeah, it was really good to be back there again. It's a delightful little town. I think I said it was a market town. I'm not sure if it is a market town. It's more of a fishing port. And also you can get quite large ships that go into the port of Foy as well. We had a look at where the former Foy railway station was, and that private road which goes to takes you up to St Blaise, and also where the port is where they load the China clay to be exported out by ship from all the China clay quarries. It's not too extensive as it used to be, the China clay works in Cornwall, but there is still some activity and it is still an important commodity, so it's good to see that. But yeah, Foy now is probably more upmarket than it used to be. It was upmarket, but now it is quite a boaty, maritime, yachty type of place. With prices to match, so the restaurants around there, but accommodation is quite pricey. But the town is a photographer's dream. It's like every cottage is painted in those glorious pastel shades. Everything is pristine within an inch of its life. There's no litter, no graffiti. Yeah, it's a really, really nice place to visit. As I say, I went in early September, early part of this month, and it was still quite a few people around. It was okay to get around. I certainly wouldn't want to have gone there in August, that's for sure. But it's good to be able to get there by public transport, because parking your car there's tricky, you've got that hill. So the bus service is quite good from Par again, so it's worth looking at public transport options as an alternative. But yeah, that was Foy. That seemed to have gone down really well, and I love my time there. And I hope to be back there again soon to cover St Catherine's Castle, which we didn't have time to cover on the day there. There was also then a canal series one, back on the Herefordshire and Gloucestershire Canal this time, because they've been doing over the summer a lot of work at Malswick, and this is part of the work the volunteers from the Herefordshire Gloucestershire Canal Trust and the Waterways Recovery Group. That's always a bit of a mouthful. I managed to get it. I think I got it away with that, okay. They've been doing a lot of work at Malswick, and I managed to get to see some of that from the road, but I couldn't get into it because it was locked up on the day of my visit. What I didn't mention is that they're also doing some work on the opposite side of the road at a place called Moat Mill Farm. I think I got that right. And you can't access that at all because there's no public right of way and there's no footpath. So that there is a little bit trickier to do. But as I get some more information on that and able to access it, I will cover that as well. Speaking of canals, while I mention it now, I could mention it when I'm doing what's coming up, but I thought I'd mention it now. They have started work on the missing mile of the Stroudwater Canal. They've actually started at Whitminster Roundabout, and I have got one of those canal updates, which will be number 11. It's the one where I'm going to be doing the Sapperton Tunnel, which is going to be my main project for the month of October on Westcountry Wanderings. So we'll be looking at Sapperton Tunnel, and there'll be other bits and pieces, and one of the things I'll feature within that video is the progress to date that they've made either side of the Whitminster Roundabout on the A38, not far from where it meets the Gloucester Sharpness Canal, and where it will reconnect to the British Canal network. So we'll have a look at that next time. The next one we had on the channel was I had a trip down to Somerset on the train down to Taunton, and that was really good because I met up with Louise from South West Sundays. It's always good to meet up with a fellow YouTuber, but that's the very first time I've met up with a fellow YouTuber. I've actually got another meet up with some more YouTubers in next month. More about that later, so there'll probably be a video on that, so watch this space. So that'll be really exciting, as well as quite a few of us meeting up there. But so yeah, good to meet up with Louise from South West Sundays. We had a good technical chat about all the time of things it takes to go behind the scenes in terms of equipment, in terms of video editing tools, and the practicalities of filming, especially when it's busy, and using mobile phones and cameras and all that type of thing. Really, really good. So it was excellent to meet up with you, Louise. I really enjoyed those couple of hours that just whizzed by. But yeah, it's good to meet up with fellow YouTubers, because sometimes you're doing it on your own, you're doing your editing on your own, you're out here, there's people around me, not a few people around here, not many, and you're creating the content on your own, so it's quite a solitary thing. So it's good to be in contact with other creators too. So the outshot of that one was I then went on to caught the bus to Bishop's Lydeard and did West Somerset Railway number 1, because I'm going to be going back there again soon at some point. I'm not sure when yet, depends on the weather and all the other projects I'm trying to juggle with canals and railways and Severn Way and Cotswolds and all that type of thing. So Yeah, so Bishop's Lydiard, I was really impressed. That is the first time I've ever been on the West Somerset Railway. Can you believe that? Never ever been there before, apart from looking around Willerton Station at the start of last month, but there was no trains then, it wasn't open. But yeah, it's good. I didn't actually go on the train this time. I will be going on the train ride there soon, hopefully. And I just went round, we saw 2 different steam engines come in and out of the station there and run round. And we had a look at the museum there, didn't we? And it was a lovely, really pleasant day. Again, really nice weather. Got a little bit warm actually in the afternoon, quite warm. But yeah, that was good. I really loved my day there on the West Somerset Railway. Terrific. And I say I will be back there again soon. And then I finished that off with 7-way number 9, where I focused solely on I can't say solely, right? I know I got that wrong in the video. Solely, I'll try again. Solely, I concentrated it solely on the town of Shrewsbury. I was blown away with Shrewsbury when I finished 7-way 8, so I thought I've got to devote a whole video to this town. And I did, I will, with Worcester, Gloucester and Bristol as well later on as we carry on our journey south. But yeah, there was so much history there, wasn't it? And it was terrific standing on that railway bridge, looking down at the river there. Yeah, I loved the town. It's got so much. I'm vaguely aware of it before. I went there many, many years ago, probably about 40 years ago, a long time ago, and could only remember bits of it. But yeah, it's just got so much, all those medieval streets, Tudor buildings, Abbey, there's so much, castle, yeah. So if you haven't checked that out, it's worth a look if you don't really know much about Shrewsbury, which I didn't before I was exploring the 7-way. So yeah, have a look at that. But I really loved Shrewsbury, great town. Now, I just noticed that the tide is starting to come in now, so I'm going to have to wrap things up on today's monthly vlog here in Westcountry Wanderings. Hope you enjoyed it. Just to tell you about what's coming up on the channel, of course there's going to be a 7-way 10. I'll be going back up to Shrewsbury in the next few days to do the walk to Atcham. There's going to be another one from Cornwall. I don't know what that's going to be yet. It might be to St Catherine's Castle back in Foy, but it could be something else. So we'll have a look. We'll have a look. If you subscribe and hit the bell, then you'll find out what that Cornwall was going to be. There'll probably be one from Devon. It may be something also around this area, maybe the Starcross area, something like that. So look out for some Devon content. There's also going to be, which will be the biggest video of the month, it's going to be the longest and the most work to do, is going to be Stroudwater and Thames and Severn Canal update number 11, which is going to include Sepperton Tunnel and the work that's going on at Westminster. So a lot of work going on for that one, and already have started that. So that's happening. There'll probably be another 7-way one as well if I've got time to fit in 11. And I'm sure there's going to be probably another canal one. This time I didn't get down to the Kennet and Avon. I was hoping to get down to the canal, and that didn't actually happen. I was hoping to get down to Bradford on Avon, but there wasn't quite enough time to do that. I'll do that next time. And so that's a really, really popular canal, isn't it, Kennet Avon? So need to get something on that one done. And there'll be another railway one as well, probably to one of the other heritage lines, not Dean Forest, maybe West Somerset, or perhaps the Devon, sorry, the Dorset one, Somerset and Dorset Railway Centre. Perhaps we'll be looking at, or Didcot Railway Centre, one of those, depending on what their opening times and weather and all that sort of thing. So there'll be lots coming up, basically. There'll be some canals, tick, railways, tick, walking, tick, 7-way, tick. So yeah, and there'll be stuff from Devon and Cornwall as well. So hopefully that'll tick all the boxes. I hope you've enjoyed the content this month on the channel, Westcountry Wanderings. Let me know what you think of the content. Please have a look at the Facebook group if you're on Facebook. Don't forget the Facebook there. So that's been doing okay. I've got about 44 members on the Facebook group now. So if you join the Facebook group, thank you very much. It started off about 10, so it's grown a lot, and I appreciate that. And the other thing to mention on my channel is that the number of views is just coming up. It'll probably go over this coming month in October. It's about 99,500 views. So I'm almost at the 100,000 views point, and I'm just, that's like mind-boggling to me. I'm getting to 100,000 views. Yeah, I don't know how that's happened really, but yeah, we're coming up to 100,000 views. So if you've watched any of my videos, I really appreciate it. And I know lots of you watch lots of them, so I really, really appreciate that. So thank you very much. Thank you if you subscribed. Thank you for commenting on my channel, and thank you for the likes and the sharing as well. I know some of you have shared my videos onto other Facebook pages, and I really appreciate that extra coverage. Until next time on Westcountry Wanderings, take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and I hope to see you in the month of October very, very soon. All the best for now. Take care. Cheers. Goodbye.